We are continuing our journey around the vineyards of Occitanie, and we're still in the Languedoc, this time in the appellation of Pic Saint Loup. One of the most dramatic backdrops to any appellation in the Languedoc is the Pic Saint Loup. Reminiscent a bit of the Roc du Solutré in the Mâconnais, this is a rock of pure limestone which dominates the region and provides the emblem for the entire appellation. Pic Saint Loup is around 1,500 hectares and is located about 30 kilometers north of Montpellier. This is a very varied, hilly and rugged landscape punctuated by the garrigue, which is that Languedoc cocktail of rosemary, thyme, lavender, dwarf oak, which gives off that beautiful scent every time the wind blows. Here, the soil is limestone. Just looking at the rock, the Pic Saint Loup itself, you can see it. And then right opposite the Pic Saint Loup is the Falaise de l'Ortus, the cliff of Ortus, which also is made of pure limestone. And not surprisingly, this gives rise to the most common soil type in this appellation. Whenever the rain falls, and there is a lot of rain in this region, 900 millimeters on average per year. This is the highest average annual rainfall of any appellation in the Languedoc. These are figures you would more commonly see in Bordeaux rather than in the Mediterranean. Unlike in Bordeaux, here in Pic Saint Loup, the rain falls mostly during the winter time. In the growing season between May and September, you don't really get much more than 150 millimeters. So actually, it's really quite dry. However, the chalky soil which is coming from this weathered limestone acts like a giant sponge. So although it's a poor soil and the yields are naturally low, the rainfall that falls in the winter is kept by this soil and is allowed to feed the vines throughout the growing season, providing a very regular and excellent source of water throughout the season. It means that drought and water stress is less of a problem in this region compared to others. We're actually between the two major winds, between the Tramontane and the Mistral. So although these winds do blow quite frequently, it may be less common than you might find in other regions, particularly like the Corbière or Minevois or the Roussillon. In Pic Saint Loup, we have altitude, starting really from about 150 meters in the southern part of the region, up to over 300 meters in the northern part. The other thing which I think is striking about Pic Saint Loup is the fact that it's a polyculture. You won't just see miles and miles of vineyard with nothing else. I mean, here you will see the garrigue, which we just mentioned. You will also see fruit trees. You will see chestnut. You will see acacia growing all alongside the vines. And also it's quite wooded. Literally below the Pic Saint Loup and the Falaise de l'Ortus, you have literally a line of woodland before you get to the vines themselves. So all this adds up to one of the most striking and actually one of the most beautiful landscapes in the entire Languedoc region. In terms of grape varieties, well, Pic Saint Loup is an appellation for red and for rosé wines. Red is actually the majority of the appellation, and Syrah, Grenache, Mourvèdre form the backbone of the red blends. The climate here is slightly different from many other regions. We're a little bit further from the Mediterranean, so although the sea is still very much the dominant climate, we have a lot more continental influences here compared to other regions that are further south. This means we get bigger variations between day and night temperatures. The summers are slightly shorter and the winters are slightly longer. So what we get is we get ripeness, but we also get acidity and we get quite firm tannins in the wine. Yields are naturally quite low, and overall there's a lot of work being done by the producers who work together to create a very high quality region. A lot of people working organically and biodynamically, and these wines have gained an excellent reputation not only in France but also in markets around the world. Pic Saint Loup is an area that's definitely worth looking for. It's probably one of the most famous regions now in the whole of the Languedoc, based, as we said earlier, on its red wines. It's not to say that white wines aren't made here, they are, but they don't fall under the appellation of Pic Saint Loup and would probably be made under the AOC Languedoc. If you're looking for something slightly different from the other Languedoc wines, something with a bit more elegance and finesse, it's almost like the Côte Rôtie of the Languedoc. So these wines are definitely worth seeking out. If you're looking for wines that also have approachability, but also the ability to age, this is an appellation that is definitely worth considering. We come to the tasting, and the wine we're going to try is Grand Cuvée from Domaine de l'Ortus. This is a domain run by the Orliac family in the village of Valflonès, which is really right underneath really the Pic Saint Loup. And they are one of the producers that really are instrumental in bringing this appellation to people's notice and for also helping to create the great reputation that Pic Saint Loup now has. The Grand Cuvée is a blend of 3 grape varieties of Mourvèdre, Syrah and Grenache. The Mourvèdre comes from the Falaise de l'Orteuse, from the cliff of Orteuse, the slightly warmer side. And then actually on the other side, under the Pic Saint Loup, on the northeast facing slopes, you find the Grenache and the Syrah, which goes into this wine. First thing is looking at this wine, it's got this gorgeous, bright, sort of ruby stroke violet color. And the nose is just gorgeous. The first thing you smell on the nose is this perfume, the perfume of the garrigue. Yeah. So there's lovely rosemary and thyme, and behind that you've got these lovely, elegant black fruits, so sort of blackberry, some black cherry. You've got some red fruits as well, some nice raspberry and strawberry. There's some vanilla on this wine, there's clearly some oak, but none of it is overpowering. Yeah. This perfume is really the #1 aroma in this wine. On the palate, that very strong aromatic potential is realized. You get this lovely interplay between this raspberry and blackberry fruit. You've got a distinct pepperiness and spiciness, which is indicative of the fact that this is slightly cooler than other Languedoc regions. And this gorgeous perfume of the garrigue overlaying everything. The oak is very much in the background, and the tannins are quite firm. All this is underpinned by a lovely, refreshing acidity, which really echoes what I was saying earlier, that this is like a Côte Rôtie style here in the Languedoc. It's a sort of more medium-bodied, but with real elegance and poise and terrific length. Fantastic stuff.